I've been a bit of a twat here because I've started doing the work without actually recording it. I'm replacing this mounting bracket. Now, I have disconnected a few electrical connections. I've undone the ties that tied the cables to, excuse me, where to go? There it was. Ties through those holes that tied the cable. I've got to release that Christmas tree, we would have called it at one time. Just pinch it together and force it through the hole. But there's just 4 screws that hold the clocks into place. And the clocks are still fully connected, as you can see. Sorry, excuse me, we've still got a time showing there. They're still, generally, they're just still wired up. So I've just lifted the wires over that ear and sat it down there for now. I was trying to work out whether that bracket is twisted or not. It's quite hard to see. I think it might be slightly askew. But anyway, we'll see how we get on with the new one. I've now got to undo the 2 bolts here that will free this bracket from the chassis. Now, as far as I can tell, this bracket is now actually free to pull away. There doesn't seem to be anything else attached to it. Oh yes, I've still got that little plastic holder to disconnect. There's no actual ties on to that side panel. There's none on this side either. There's nothing else appears to be connected anywhere. Okay, I think that's ready to come off. Now, I'll just get a pair of pliers, squeeze that together, we'll get that out. Now the replacement one I've received has actually got a tie in place, exactly the same sort. I'll use a pair of pliers, squeeze that together, and we'll see if we can pull it out. See how easy it is before I try it on the one that's actually on the harness. Well, that was easy. Pair of narrow nose pliers, squeeze the 2 sides in, pull it out. It was even easier with the harness because I had more to grip onto. I had the harness itself to grab hold of to give it a tug. As soon as I squeezed the sides in, give it a tug, away it came. Right, I think that bracket can come out now. We've got the mark in there, MEJ1, made by a company called YSK. MEJ1 by a company called YSJ. Okay, I think that is one in the same. It looks like we've got some top hats in place here. Yes, top hats exactly. Oh, just plain washers. Plain washers, right. I'm lucky I never lost them. We've got 4 plain washers. One, 2. They kind of stick into the rubber. 3. And last one. 4. Okay, let's see if we can get the new one into place. We've got it into the bracket. If I can, it's quite hard to, there we go. Sorry about the twistiness of the camera. I've got it into the bracket. I've now just got to put the 2 bolts in, tighten those up, and it's just a question of reassembly. Right, that's the bracket on. 2 bolts tightened into place. Now we need to put the clocks back up, and that's quite simple. I just need to make sure that as I pull it up I get this wiring up over this ear, and there's 4 pins go into these rubber mounts. Hopefully this is all going to fall back together perfectly. Now all I've done is lifted the clocks up, pushed them into place. I've got this wiring harness to go over here. Oh no, there's a smaller one that has to go over first. Yeah, we'll get those over there. There's a couple of wiring harnesses that were getting in my way down here. these two, oops, sorry, these two have got to be tied up out the way. These have got to be plugged back in, and I think that's it. Oh, of course. Silly boy. I've got the washers and screws to put back on in here. There's no little job without its hiccup. I notice that the reason this is further back is this is out of place. If I plug that into there, I can't get the wiring harness in over the bracket, or can I? Let's try that. No, because that little plastic, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. See it there? The plastic is hitting off the frame, and I can't really get the harness in there without there. I'm going to play about with it. Right, with a little twisting, little jiggery pokery, I've nearly got it in place. It's a little push, we'll put it in there. And that's that done. I've also tucked in the other two harnesses. There's a tie to go through that hole and round these. We'll do that once we've got that Christmas tree into place. Right, we've got the cable tie on, holding the cables there and through that loop. There's nothing disconnected from that, so nothing to reconnect. Over and under, we have that cable tie in place there, holding those cables in situ, and we've connected up that connector. There's the blue connector, excuse me, here, which goes to the indicators, but no point in connecting that up since that panel's going to come off anyway, and it goes for the indicator. The indicator's broken, so that's going to come off anyway to either be replaced or repaired. And we've got a third connector here. That's actually for the side light. We've got the headlight there, side light there. Now, having now got that bracket into position and looking along the bike, it does look pretty square. Seems okay. That is the replacement mounting bracket in place, with all the screw holes in place for holding the fairing and the mirrors. Superb. Just about to pack up there when I realised I had a fourth cable tie which fits on this left hand side, just to keep those harnesses tight up against the bracket. So no panic, but nearly missed it. So there are 4 cable ties, 2 on this side, 2 on the other. Okay, the panels are back. Been away for about 5 weeks now. Damage to that corner has been repaired. The most obvious damage to this before was the crack running along that seam, which is now repaired. He has tried to smooth it down to give it a better finish and to accentuate that angle. In fact, he's tried to shape it to merge these two angles together as it should be. I think he's made a pretty fair job of that. I don't know if it's possible to see where he's welded it on the inside there, but all in all, pretty tidy job, not bad. The centre section, which had this ear broken off, that's all welded back on, smoothed out. Again, I think he's made a pretty fair job of that. There's a slight difference in level there, but not enough to worry about. That gets covered by the screen anyway. No, I think it's done a good job there again. Again, this bracket on this side was broken off, but I don't think that matters so much. We have the fittings or connections in place for the two ends, so whether it's supported in the middle, I don't think it's going to cause any great problems. And finally, this was the worst damage of the panels. Again, it had a little bit of cracking along here where it had been crushed, and doesn't look like it's had to weld right into that. He has smoothed it out. This was the biggest part of the damage here, where it has a huge hole that had to be filled. He's done a lot of work to shape that angular line there and to bring it back into shape. You'll see from this one, you have this kind of looped corner, which he's done a lot of work into filling and smoothing that to get that loop correct. He's also repaired a broken part here, but he wasn't sure where the line of this was supposed to go. It differs to the other side, because this is a much larger cutaway, because of this covers for where the radiator is situated on the frame, but there's the outlet pipe on this side where it isn't on this side, so I don't think this cutaway needs to be as big. I need to try and fit that onto the bike to see how far this needs to be cut away before I can send it away for painting. So the panels are back. That is ready now for painting. I need to try and get copies of these decals, because my belief is that when they repaint this, they're not going to do little patchworks of paint. They will want to paint the whole thing, which means replacing these decals. That's going to be quite difficult because I don't know what the part numbers are for the decals, and I don't believe there's anything on here that's going to tell me. There's a part number on here, obviously, for the panel itself, but the painting spec not specified. At last, I've got the panels back. Now that is not a bad match in colour. If I can just catch the reflection of the sun, we can see them against each other. There's a very slight difference in colour to my eye. The panel red having a slightly blue tinge to it, but I think it's close enough not to matter. That huge hole being cut into that panel, that is now repaired and is looking pretty good. In fact, to be honest, it looks like new. And of course the headlight cone, the brakes and the top arm all repaired now. You wouldn't even know it had been done. And of course a good colour match on the white. In terms of colour match, the Honda code on the frame only gave the colour code for the white, not for the red. So it was down to the painter to find a match for that red panel, which he successfully did. The decals had to be sourced from Germany via a motorcycle agent, but I think they've got them perfectly in place. I'll have to check that and make sure that's okay. Because the way they're positioned is to make them look level when the fairing is mounted to the bike. Anyway, I think that's the aesthetics taken care of.